Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Apologies for the delay. Um, we're super excited to have everyone here. And yeah, we've been prepping for this event, and we had some software related issues here. So apologies for that, and excited we finally got it working. So let's get straight to it. How can we replace? So yeah, before starting, it's gonna be the four of us here presenting. I'm Andreas. I'm the founder and CEO at hoop.dev. We have Mateus, Sandro, and Rogério. Uh, all of us working here, building Hope. And so I'm gonna get right into it. I would start with some brief overview of the problem. Likely, many of you um, can relate to this problem, and I'll give some background on it, and then we will explore how we can use Hope to um, replace this. Oh, let me fix some volume issues here. Okay, it's better. Cool. So now that my folks told me my volume was not great, so I also want to make sure this is as interactive as possible. So let us know if you have any comments as we move forward here. Feel free to use the chat to send us any comments. I'll ask you questions throughout the presentation. So yeah, love to hear from you and have some interactions here. So yeah, I'll start with this presentation. Then we are gonna walk through some of the possibilities we have for um, for replacing, making your platform easier to manage and use. So let's get to it then. I'll bring my friends outside now, and we'll come back in a minute as I present this to you. So this is going to be a very short presentation to give a little background on this problem. Many of you are likely facing, and I faced it myself multiple times. I had to work uh, through these building in-house solutions or combining multiple tools to solve this problem. So luckily you can get out of here today with some new ideas on how to approach this access access management problem. So a little agenda of this presentation. So this is gonna be six to 8 minutes presentation, and basically we're gonna give you a quick background on how we got here. Then we're gonna touch on the four pillars, and this is a different view of the access management landscape, what it means to have proper access management. And then with this framework, we're going to talk about how this makes for an infinite backlog. It's almost impossible to complete the four pillars for your whole infrastructure. Then we deep dive into a real world example. We're going to talk about databases. Then we're gonna see, like, we talk to many companies. We, as we build the product, we have many customers. We could talk to a lot of platform teams and DevOps teams on what what they're doing to solve this problem. So we're gonna share some insights with you on the hundreds of platform engineers that we spoke with, what their insights we gathered. Then we're gonna get to some big picture, what we're at watching. Um, Dive between the lines, like what are the nuances we see here. And then we're going to talk about the new approach, the exciting and different take we created for this problem. So let's get to it. It's a bit of background, so platform building a platform for a fintech is way harder than a normal non highly regulated company. And I had this experience myself. So before creating Hoop, I I used to build internal platforms for high growth fintechs and Fortune 500 banks. And I saw the same challenges over and over again. And that's where I realized there was a different take, a different approach to the problem. So with this insight, I created, founded hoop.dev, assembled this uh, great team we have here. Some folks are not here, but yeah, it started to take off pretty quickly. So we're already helping thousands of engineers for high growth fintechs and other highly regulated businesses. And we're backed by Y Combinator, probably heard of it. It's a very well known accelerator. Also backed by some very well known and large investors. So yeah, we have very interesting customers as well using us, and we're going to touch a bit on it in a minute. So finally, what are the four pillars I was talking about? And basically, we call them the four A's, and you're likely going to relate to this. For any piece of your infrastructure that you need to manage, somehow you need to operate it. The developers at your company, they need to operate it. So you want to get a way to access it. That's the first thing. If you don't have to access, you don't have to do access management. So there's no point in bringing it here. But as long as you need to access something, you need to make sure it has strong authentication, strong or flexible enough authorization to let you follow least access principles. And then you need to audit to make sure you can validate that what you wanted to happen is happening, and also comply with regulations and security compliance certification. So that's the framework we're going to be using. And again, like you probably know of these already. This is pretty table stakes at this point. But what a lot of people don't realize is that to get these four, and these slides are a little bit out of order here, but you need to get these four things in order for you to get these four pillars enabled for all your infrastructure. It's a almost impossible challenge, and that's the infinite backlog I talked about. If you stop right now, like open your Jira, open your like platform backlog or security, the security piece of your platform backlog, and you're probably finding that for each one of these services you use, your databases, your servers, your containers, your cloud APIs, cache, for all of them, you only have like one or two of the three pillars. For some of the services, or maybe for databases, you have the four pillars enabled. You have a proper way to access, that has a good developer experience. It's fast, it's secure, it has TLS, it has encryption. And then you have strong authentication, you have your single sign-on. Then you have strong authorization, you have proper IAM and RBAC rules. And then finally you can audit, and you're sending this data to your CM, or you're centralizing this in a logging system you can reuse. Very, very few companies today are doing these four things for all the services they have. You can ask yourself now, and if we look, like, just to make it a little bit more concrete, what it means to create this for a database. So let's look only at the access pillar. So this is the stack a developer or someone that needs to access a database to fix an incident, to troubleshoot an incident or a bug. This is what they have to go through. So you have security, you have a firewall. Hold on for 1 sec. Sorry, everyone. We're having some strong rain here, and I heard some weird sound outside, so got a bit scared, but nothing wrong. Some lightning happening. Cool. Let's get back to it. So yeah, this is the stack you gotta go through if you wanna provide a good way to access a database. And for each one of these things, you want to get access, authentication, audits, and authorization. So it's pretty complicated. Again, not many companies are, uh, not a lot of companies can do this. So if we zoom out a little bit, again, similar picture. So you want to coach on each one of these technologies and each one of these stacks for all your services. So in short, when we talk to these hundreds of platform teams, you'll take this is an average, will depend on your stack, but you'll be looking at 100 hours of a senior engineer to get one of the pillars properly built, and then gonna invest a similar amount of time for the other three, and that's for each one of your services. So that's why it's very hard to get all these like feature complete. And yeah, so we talked to a lot of people, and basically the result here is, unless you're Google or Netflix, you're investing billions of dollars building your platform, it's very unlikely you're gonna complete all of this. So yeah, how are companies solving this? And I was talking in the beginning, if you're a fintech, it's very hard to do business without a lot of these things. So usually the workaround is either you combine a lot of different vendors and have a very complex time and hard time managing all this, or usually you end up with a lot of toil because you want to make sure these things are happening. You have people doing it manually, so you have like a handful of engineers in the company with like privileges to production, and then everyone has to go through them, and these people are like very sad doing copy and pasting only because they have access to production, but then they will manually record audits. They will manually do you have easier time setting up strong authentication and authorization for only one person or handful of people. So what is the new approach we're taking? So basically what we do with Hoop, and that's why finally, that's how we're replacing your VPNs, jump servers, and your SSH. That's how we combine everything. So we created this layer that abstracts all of these 4 pillars for all your cloud services. So you just put them behind Hoop. Very quickly, you can get one single interface. So by putting them behind Hoop, you already solved 2 of the 4 pillars. One, you have a very good user experience for access. We're gonna show you how that works in a minute. 2, you have strong authentication. So that's already integrated with your users directory and your single sign-on provider. And then for 3 and 4, like audits already. Anything that's going through Hoop, you have audits being generated. And the third and the last pillar, the authorization pillar, where it becomes like 10x easier to do because you do it in one place instead of having to create these different rules in different systems. You do it in a single place, and it's way easier to manage and evolve your authorization rules across your like 10 different cloud services. And to wrap up, this is some of the results we see here. So some 2 of our current customers. These are very large fintechs, 300, 500 engineers organizations, and we see from PII data like reducing exposure of PII data to devices, reducing time to resolution of incidents, and removing a lot of toil, for eBanks, they replaced an in-house solution that took a lot of time to build and manage, and now they are seeing a lot of efficiencies from using a managed service that's getting a lot of evolution. So that's only talking about the direct benefits. We're not talking about how much time the platform teams are saving by not having to dedicate a lot of their energy to working on this backlog. So that's about it for the first part. And now I want to bring Mateus in because he's going to show us a little bit of this magic and give us an overview of what is this new hope thing that's doing all of these things. So how that works exactly, it's going to show us now.
So cool. Thank you, Andres. I will go through a little bit of I will skip the installation process because you can find it on our website. If you're on Mac, you can install using Brew. But yeah, I will just skip that part and go to getting to use it a little bit. So first thing first, if you want to run locally a demo or just to see how it looks, you can just come here and hoop start. It will initiate a few things for you. But yeah, if you already have an account set up and you can access it on a web browser on a hoop.dev URL, that's also good. So yeah, let's get started with a few things in here. We can go to this link. I will just share this link with you. Sorry, I'll share this screen with you in here. So yeah, like once you started, you see like this almost nothing thing, but you can go directly to create a connection, and we have a lot of use case. We can like just quick start something that you are looking for. I don't know, like a lot of people are using Kubernetes these days. So we have a few examples of how you can get some Kubernetes commands and connections done in here, and a few more. And once you do this, I will actually go with a Postgre one. Just for example, let's call it, I don't know, PG production, and get some credentials here. The host here, and this read only, the pass, need for the port, and create. So here we go. We have this Postgre connection. It didn't do anything yet, but if we come here to connect to it, it gives us the commands that are possible to do. Sandro will go through those comments further. No need that I should be giving some spoilers ahead. But yeah, like I will just stop it for later and get to connect on this on this Postgre. I'm in my terminal, right? I'll get back here to the terminal to show you.
You can keep going. I'll switch here between the terminal and the web as you go. So just keep going and I'll switch things here. We can see your terminal now.
No, you actually seen Sandro's terminal.
Oh, okay. Let me swap that then. I need a different terminal.
I will just share it here.
Okay.
I'm doing it. And well, here we go. So we go for the connection that I had created is this one. So I'm using my whole local host thing here, my demo running my machine. So if I connect to this, it will give me this this information so I can connect, I don't know, in the Beaver or I don't know, any thing to connect on a Postgre database, I will just try to do it PSQL here. And yes, now you can see like it's connected, like how things exactly work in here. Like Sandra is going to give you a lot of information, but I can just, I don't know, just add some things here just to see how things are working. So just leave this select now, and if I go back there to the UI, I will see like all the sessions that are happening. I will just get back to the, where is it? And here we go. And like this has a open connection in here. So this is in progress. So there is nothing to see in here. So if I go to my terminal and I just exit everything in there and update it, this is now ended, and I can see the query I run in there, and everything here can be auditable, and we can even manage to get into much more plugins, which is, I won't go to spoilers in here. Like my colleagues are going to get into a lot of plugins to you see how everything can be put together and work. We have like reviews plugins, which is really good for when you want to give access but not directly want to review something first. And we have another for like just approving some time of connection and much more, like hiding specific fields. This is something that can be really expanded. So, and yeah, just like a quick connection in here, I will just go here and create this command line. And just so you see, like we have this lots of examples in here that you can start off something. Like my Kubernetes is like one off. This is like I will execute one single command inside of it. So it already feels like commands, a lot of more advanced fields for you. It creates like the kube config file name for you, and you can just like place your kube config file in here. But I will just create by myself this one, because this is much simpler. And I'm getting the my kube config file in here. So I'm just putting it in base64 and create. So also inside, once I created this, I can just go and connect to my and mostly exact. This is what you most want to do in a Kubernetes. But yes, you can access it because it's a command line. So it means like you just pretty much accessing a Linux machine. So if you're used to Linux and to command line, you can just like do magic in here. Sandra is the one who can give you a lot of heads up how you can do really good and cool stuff with those commands. But yeah, like in general, I won't be doing much of this. So like I said, some of my colleagues are going to explain much further in details how you can connect and exacting off commands, how you can really explore all the possibilities inside inside a hoop. But you can just like come in here and create a lot of connections or whatever you want. We have those examples, and these examples down here are just like scaffold and bootstrap of what we have up here. Like MySQL is still coming. We don't have it, but we have an option to create a command line to MySQL. This is like a little hack. You can do lots of things with this command line. It's the most versatile one that we have. So yes, like we are exploring these native connections, but also giving all the power to create the connections using a external machine to access anything you want. You can configure the access in here.
Cool. So thank you, my friend. Now,
no problem. Thank you.
Take over and as we saw here, the access experience is very straightforward. So what Mateus just did in his local computer, you can do it right now in your local computer. So feel free to install the CLI and bootstrap everything. And that's how quickly you can add a Kubernetes cluster or database. Now, access, again, is only one of the pillars. So how can we manage the other three is what I want to share with you now. So I'll give you a really quick overview of our plugins, which are the way to program and extend the behavior on top of the access. So you can think of the plugin system as a, if you're familiar with API gateway pattern, where you have middleware logic that you put on it. And then every request going through the API gateway, either before or after, you can hook behavior there that's gonna, or custom logic that's gonna run on every traffic or whenever traffic is going through. And plugins here are the same. So after you have connections, as Mateus said, again, have a lot of possibilities here. Ideally, you're putting your whole infrastructure here, and you're never worrying again about how can you provide an interface for your developers to access something. It's always here. And then you can actually think about your behavior. So these are some of the plugins we have, and these are some of the official plugins, but Rogério is going to talk a little bit about it towards the end, but you can create plugins. So anything that's here, we created it, but you can create a slightly different version if you want, or you can extend this or create something completely new. So let's start with audit. So Mateus showed us you can, audit is enabled by default on all connections, but you can actually choose here if you want to audit or not all of your connections. One very powerful thing that's happened, it's so like direct that many times it goes unnoticed. You're getting audit trails for your whole infrastructure from Kubernetes clusters, databases, AWS access in a single, in a standard format that you can basically query. You can schedule alerts in your CM tool. You can use this data in a much better way. And then the alternative, if you want to centralize all your access or audit trails, it's very hard to do. You're going to do a lot of ETL and get data from different tools. So that's a very powerful thing here for audit. Now, there's also access control. So you can very easily, after integrating with your users directory, you can come here and create your RBAC rules and grant access to specific groups and connections in a very single interface for, again, all your infrastructure. This is the powerful, this is the different take we're making for this problem. This is not like, think about it. How are you creating RBAC rules for your database? You're likely have some custom users or roles inside your database. And then for Kubernetes, you're either creating it in Kubernetes itself or using Rancher or something like this. And then like for each one of your technologies, you have to replicate this. And this is an alternative to a single place to set up all of the RBAC rules. So yeah, and there are more advanced things here. So review workflows. So how can you create some double checks for sensitive operations? So you don't want to folks deleting data in the database, but you don't want to take away the autonomy for anybody that needs that. Maybe it's a real use case. So you can have a similar to a multi-tier process where someone runs something, it goes through a review workflow, and then after reviewed, you can let them proceed with the operation. And this review workflow is super powerful because it gives you the highest level of granularity in terms of author. So it's not access control is standard. So you have like resources and you have users and groups, and then you want to map these. But now, like with use, you can authorize an intention, an intent. So it's very granular. You don't want to know, like, you don't want to grant someone access to a database, but you want to let them query, and you can have this level of authorization here. Then there is data loss prevention. That's transparent. So that's like advanced authorization. This is not available anywhere. So basically, you're saying, hey, for any access to my Postgres database, I want to redact automatically inside the connection all of these fields. Use a machine learning service, redact this data in real time. And then lastly, just in time. So you want to grant someone 30 minutes access to the database. You have a review workflow tied to that, and then you can have this very straightforward interface. And again, anything that's here, you can customize and create. So that's a quick overview of capabilities there. How can you extend these connections? And now we're gonna see a little bit of these plugins and more advanced use case for the access component. So what are all the possibilities in terms of access, and how are these plugins working in real life? And I'm gonna bring Sandro here to tell us more about this.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? So today I'm going to show some demos here about how to interact with the hoop command line. Edson has sent a question about if we can use the PG admin instead of PSQL. So what Mateo showed, it was a command line connection. So let's think about a connection like a wrapper on top, a wrapper of command lines, command line utilities. So when you create a connection, you can create, you can wrap any command that you already have in your infrastructure, and on top of that, you could add like secrets and enhance how this connection will be used for developers. And you could create command line interfaces for developers. So this demo are going to show a little about that. So the first thing that of this showcase is I'm going to show you how to interact with the BigQuery and a Postgres database with Hoop. And all these examples are made with a local instance of Hoop. So you could replicate any of the examples in this demo showcase. So as Mateus has showed, you need to start, you need to type Hoop start. And I already have a development environment here already set up. Let's go to the commands here. So I create a connection called BQ query. It just it's a wrapper on top of the BQ command line to interact with BigQuery. Here we are trying to fetch a value from a database in the BigQuery. So here we have the session, and this will be running asynchronous. So after this is done, we can interact with another command line called BQ head. So and you could see the results here. So let's see that we want the result as a JSON, and we have another connection here, like VQ JSON, and then we could do something like this. Start on a environment variable, and then we have Postgres database, and we want to use the babe name environment variable as input to another connection, which is a Postgres instance. So in this case, I'm querying for the Dawn and Stark resource here. So that's it for the demo. So what has happened here? So PSQL is just a wrapper to the PSQL command, and we have like other wrappers that is VQ head and VQ query. So you could also interact with the PSQL command line in the interactive mode. So this will start on interactive mode here, and then you could query the database. Oh, and you can notice here that this is using the plugin data loss prevention, so we cannot see the email here, so it's redacted. So and we could consult this session then in audits after the developer exits the session. So so the connect command is creates an interactive session. Since we are using the PSQL command, the PSQL command has the ability to start ESQL prompt on an interactive mode, like this, for example. So, but we create this wrapper on top of the SQL, and then we got audit and data loss prevention add-ons. And you can interact also with Kubernetes resources, for example. So here you can check pods and deployments. And as I said before, this is just a wrapper to kube control in this case. And then you can use any kind of command that you want. So a more advanced usage is that you can interact with pods running inside a Kubernetes cluster. So this is kind of tricky because here I'm executing a qtile, exec, and any at the deploy bin API, which is a pod running in the cluster, and then running the command Rails runner, and this hyphen here is just telling me reads everything that comes from the standard input. So the standard input will have this command ppm, which will print the environment variables in this Ruby instance. So that's it. And we have another. So you can simplify that, and you can put all that exec deploy bin API. You can wrap this in a single command, like this one. So this will just run the exact command as before, but this is way better for the user, the developer experience. You can also connect with in a Rails console inside a Kubernetes cluster, this you can do that because the kube control allows you to do that, and we use hoop as and the connection is just a wrapper to this command, and we just catch everything between those interactions. And so here is the thing, and you can see that the DLP is taking effect and redacting some fields here like URLs. And so another example here is creating reviews to comments. Like, let's say that we want to run something in your database, but you require that another team to review that. So in this case, we are executing the migrate to an application, and this task needs to be approved by an admin. So I'm going to approve that in the web app, visiting this link, and then the command was approved and start running the migration. And another example is having a time-based access to some connection. So in this case, the task needs to be approved to connect in the Rails console. So you have like you have like only 30 minutes to access these resources. After I approve it, and then the connection takes place. So concludes. I think that's it for the demo, and a conclusion is that with Hoop as an administrator, you could create multiple command line interfaces for developers. With a single command line, a developer is able to inspect the state of multiple systems. So with Hoop, you have the ability of loading credentials from developers, separating the responsibility of teams where administrators manage credentials and access and grant access to internal services, and developers just interact with them. And on top of all that, Hoop allows you applying granular policies to connection and enable add-ons like audit, data loss prevention, and many more. That's it for today, folks. I'm sorry. I think right now is Rogério is the next one to.
Yeah, totally. Thank you. And everyone, if you're hearing some thunder and lightning sounds this is not a background effect. This is real rain that's happening here. So yeah, so now we're gonna bring on Rogério, and we had some issues with the software in the beginning. We started a bit late, so we're gonna go over a little bit. If you have a hard stop in the next in the hour, so feel free to jump off, and we're gonna share the recording with everyone, so you're gonna be able to see the recording if you can't stay for a little longer. But yeah, this is the last part and one of the most exciting. So yeah, stay tuned, and Rogério will show us some very exciting things. Over to you, Rogério.
Cool. Please, could you share the screen for me? That's amazing. Hey there, I'm Rogério, and I hope everyone is doing great today. I'm going to show you how to develop a plugin to use inside the hoop.dev. As shown by Andros and Sandro and Mateus, we have several plugins where to be used with just one click. But what if you want one plugin with a specific use case? So, okay, here we have the website hoop.dev, which provides documentation on plugin development. and session, we can see there's only few steps to develop a plugin. However, we are going to set the documentation aside and try it ourselves to see how simple. Okay, so the first step, we need to start Hoop. So I read it today and we will see a little bit more. Just 1 second. Cool. So we need to start an agent. So to start an agent, just put agent after the start. That's cool. Okay. So second step, we need to start the plugin app development. So to create a new plugin where we will add an environment variable to our connection environment. So to start it, we have a repository on GitHub with a demo plugin that we can guide us when write our plugin. We use this to speed up our development. So let's clone this one here, and cool. Amazing. And let's go to this path. Cool. Open in our editor. Okay. And this is the file that we need. Let's open here. Okay. We are going to add a code which will mutate the parameters of connection, injecting an environment variable when the session starts. And the session starts when we use hoop connect or hoop exec. So we have 3 functions, the main functions here. The one session open, on session receive, and on send. No, on receive and on send. Sorry. But we don't need to pay attention on these 2 right now, just on it. And how the name say, it's a spoiler because the function happens when the session opens. And we will add code here. Let's copy this code and put here. Because we need that this code happens when the session opens. And that's it. That's it. Okay, we need to import this one. In the first line, we have the encoding using base 64 of the value hoop 2023. The second line, we have the environment variable hoop live receiving. And the third one, we have this environment being injecting on the in connection environment variables. So not more than it. We need to save and build this demo for gateway can use it in our connection as well. So let's go to it. We need to build with go build. Choose a path and that's it. The build was created in the temp folder that we choose, and that's it. Now we need to keep this aside as well and go to the plugin configuration. So let's go to our portal. Okay, we have a brand new portal here, and we will create Shiny Bash. The command, no, this one. And the agent started before create. Cool. Now we are going to use a curl request, replace some missing values that we receive. In this request, we will add the demo plugin on the. So let's copy here and go back to the terminal. That's amazing. So we can see that we are going to make a request to this endpoint, the name of plugin demo, the path, and we need to replace these values of the connection. So the name we already know is bash, but the ID we don't know, and we still don't have a fancy way to get it. So let's use our dear inspect element. We will refresh this page and go to the requests, connection. We can see is the connection that we want. We copy this ID. Whoops, a little bit difficult. Okay. We'll replace it. Here we go. That's perfect. Now we can see here the demo is working and is one for Dash. Okay, so everything is set up. Shall we working? So we can come to here and open a session. And as we learned before, hoop connect and the name. Okay, inside. And we have a comment in Bash to see the env. So we can use it here. And how we can see Hoop Live is there. And if we want to see just the Hoop Live environment, we can do it, and here we go. Again, it's here. Perfect, everything's working, super simple, but we have a really cool extra to show to you. It's about the backstage.io. I believe you already heard about. So it's a platform to centralize different softwares and used by us developers. And as us, they have plugins. And let's take a look. Whoa, we are here too. And let's explore. We have a getting started, super simple. And we can see it working with a little spoiler. So connections, we have the list of our connections here, and we read about developers as Backstage provide to us. So it's an alpha plugin, but we can see how powerful it can be for our teams and our developers. So that's it. Now I need to Andrews again, and that's
Thank you. Yeah, that's super exciting. As I said, one of my favorite parts is that you can create your own plugins and extend our functionalities. You don't have to stick to what we have here. So with that, we are wrapping up. If anybody has questions, feel free to send them in the chat. Yeah, want to take a few seconds to thank everyone that took the time to stay with us here and check out this different approach for access management that can simplify our infrastructure, make you spend less time with toil and invest more time in strategic projects. And yeah, that's about it for us today. We're gonna again share the recording and the slides with everyone after this chat, so you can share it with anybody you want or re-watch it. Let us know again. Feel free to sign up. You can run everything we did here in your own computer, in your own environment. If you have any questions about the product or the demos we showed, just let us know. We're here, happy to talk to you, or yeah, anybody. That's it. Thank you again, and we will see you in the next live next month. Bye bye, everyone. See you soon.